fellas, not even Michael Jordan had a perfect shooting percentage when he was active in the NBA, which means it's okay for all of us to have an off night from time to time. But when it comes to fixing off nights in the sack, the answer does not lie with a sketchy gas station pill or a boner pill filled with crazy side effects. Oh, no, no, no. The answer comes from joy mode. Oh, yeah. Because whether you're happy or unhappy with your bedroom performance, why not perform even better? I bet your partner would like that. Enjoy Mode's sexual performance booster is like a pre-workout, but for sexy time. Oh yeah. It's designed to support erection quality, firmness, and sex drives. It contains clinically supported doses of arginine nitrate, L-citrulline, Panax ginseng, and vitamin C. And best of all, Joy Mode is safe and backed by science. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals. Plus, all ingredients have been studied and researched in humans. So I don't know about you guys, but I'll never go back to over-the-counter drugs after trying Joy Mode. It's small enough to fit in your wallet and take with you on the go. It's the perfect travel companion to take you to sexy town. Oh, yeah. So don't miss your chance to up your game in the bedroom, people. Go to tryjoymode.com for 20% off with promo code FratChat. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FratChat at tryjoymode.com. Great sex solved naturally. It's Joy Mode, people.
What are you doing?
Testes in my mouth.
Get on the ground, you fucking pledge!
Ew.
Welcome to the greatest podcast experience of your life. This is the FratChat Podcast.
All young men like three things. Food, booze, pussy.
Featuring Carlos Garcia and Chris
And we are recording.
Okay, good. Dude, I'm sick.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. I've been
like
sick.
you're like really sick.
Yeah, all week I've been so sick. Oh.
Oh.
And you know what? My mom keeps asking, she's like, oh my God, is it COVID? And I'm like, I don't know. And I guess I'm at that point now where I don't care if it's COVID or not, because wouldn't do anything any differently. I say I work from home. I keep to myself. I take my medicine, and I try not to spread germs. Like, I don't know
Totally.
if I had COVID, what difference would it make?
Totally. Well, totally. At least COVID now has gotten to the point where, for most of us, it's it's a flu type thing, and you don't feel good. Don't get me wrong, the flu sucks, but we ain't gonna die now with these variants. Hopefully, unless you're immunocompromised, keep that shit in check, people. Me and Simo got that strong immune system. We got that. We got that joy mode immune system, people. Because that's right. Not only are wieners strong like wood in the forest, these things are all natural, baby. So our immune systems are too. You just feel
And
better.
also,
You feel good. You're ready to rock.
Also, thanks to that COVID vaccine, I got that 5G chip to help me the rest
Oh
of my days.
yeah. So Bill Gates hit Simo's body up.
Yeah.
So go to tryjoymode.com. Use promo code FratChat in that bitch. You can add it right to the top. Use promo code. You can do tryjoymode.com/FratChat. They'll know we'll send you. Then use promo code FratChat. Save 20%, get free shipping on these bad boys. Trust me, they are game changers. They're awesome. This is like my 6-pack, FYI. And now that I'm engaged, I'm gonna need to order a few more. Hey.
And then when you get married, you're gonna donate them.
That's right. That's how it be. That's how it be. Oh, it's gonna be a 6-year engagement. Just make sure I get it all out of me. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it was like college. You know
The
what I mean? You
poison
needed
out.
yeah. I did college in 5 years. I just need to get my fill. It's like I'm never coming back here again. So
Yeah.
this magical place where you just fall on vagina. It was crazy. Everybody likes you. It's like, man, college was awesome.
A magical place where you fall in vagina sounds like a nightmare to me. That's a place I don't want to go. No, thank you.
What if it was like a field of wieners? Would that be a better analogy for you? You're just running through
Yes.
it like that movie. How low can you go? You know, she's running through the field of roses.
Yeah,
Casablanca. I don't know.
that sounds fantastic to me.
The classic, but you know, big wieners too. There's tree wieners as well. You know, and you just like singing along. It's tomorrow, tomorrow.
That sounds
Anywho,
nice.
I do have a story to tell you that I told you off air. I told you on the air. Might as well tell the listeners because this is right up our alley. But I know you'll respect this. This happened to me less than 24 hours ago, so it's very fresh in my mind. And I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest. So I was here in my apartment and, you know, writing some jokes, doing what we do. And all of a sudden, I felt the urge to pee. And I go to the bathroom and I'm in there, draining the main vein, as we say. And all of a sudden, I sneeze, right? But I don't know what happened. As I was, maybe it was the double push. As I was peeing and sneezing, all of a sudden, pa! The back just went like an exhaust pipe that was just stuck up. Pa! I was like, "Oh God, did I just shit myself?" And lo and behold, dude, I looked down into the old sweatpants, and it was a mess down.
Oh no.
It was so bad. And the thing is, I didn't even have to poop. I don't know if that was just like stuck in there. My body was like, "This is your chance to get this out of you." I don't know, but it shot out like a fucking like spray cannon. It was
It
like one of
sounds
those
like
like
the gerbil escaped.
it was like those squids, you know what I mean? That ink when they're scared. It was like
Yeah.
like so that's exactly how I felt. I've never had it like that. Was wild, wild. My God,
Welcome to the
and I've
club,
literally
man.
like lost control of my bowels before. When my panics got removed, they shut down, and I still was able to hold them in. Never shit myself then. Uh, and it took like 2 days for my intestines to work normally again because it like once you like have surgeries apparently like that, sometimes they stop working as well. And it takes a while to get going. But literally, I didn't even shit myself to do that. But nope, this just I don't know if I'm getting old. It
You
was
know,
bad.
I
It was bad.
think this is a normal thing to happen to people. And so I think a couple things. One is that um shit happens. It is what it is. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Literally.
Um, but I also think that this is good to happen to men occasionally because when women get pregnant and they have a child, things get stretched out. They might sneeze or giggle too hard and pee a little or poop a little or whatnot. You know what I mean? So I think it's
Yeah, when
good
they get older
for us to
too.
share the
Happened
shame.
to my grandma.
Yeah,
I
I think
helped her
it's
out, and she was like, I was like, "Oh, grandma."
nice.
You just, it happens to the best of us, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very humanizing. When I used to date people, um, on like the first couple dates, I would ask them like, "When's the last time you shat yourself?" And they'd be like, "What do you mean by what? Like, I just want to know. Like,
Uh,
we're getting to
I
know each
used to say it
other."
now as a kid, but now I have to reset that. Like it's like a 38,000 days without accident sign. Now it goes back to zero. It's day
Yeah,
one. It's
day
like, damn it.
one. So let me ask you: Are you going to salvage the pants, or are they in the trash can?
They were nice sweatpants shorts. I'm salvaging them, and there was the
But you're
underwear took
always
most
gonna,
of it.
you're always gonna look at them as the shorts that you pooped yourself in.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Especially, and the underwear took most of it. I am contemplating throwing them away, but like I had to like wash it off because it smelled so bad. It was like I think it was like something toxic in my stomach. I needed to escape, and like I was like standing there,
The gerbil.
like Yeah, like standing there looking down, like spread eagle, like with shit all over me, like a goddamn baby. And I'm wondering, like, do I call Julie? Like, is this like,
Was she
are
was
we
she home?
engaged? She was home working in the other room, and I'm sitting there like freaking out. And here's the thing: why it mattered too, because yesterday was, I think it was Passover, it was one of the Jewish holidays,
Yom Kippur?
and Yom Kippur, yes, that's what it is. And Julie couldn't eat after sundown. And so I'm like racing the clock already to cook something that takes an hour to eat. And then all of a sudden this happens. And, it's a major delay when you're racing against literal time. So I'm sitting there wondering, like, do I like yell at Julie to maybe like help me clean myself or help with the food? Will I clean my? And I was, no, I can't. I can't tell her just yet. I need to process this first. But it's like I like cleaned my half in the shower and then did the shorts, did the fucking thing. And just like, it was so bad. It was so bad. Then I like waddled out, with no bottom. Hopefully Julie didn't come out.
I always
It was
say
the worst.
there's two types of people in the world. So if we were to take a dump in the shower, one type of person would pick it up with tissue and flush it. The other type of person, which I think is us, we
Ah!
would just stomp it down the drain, wouldn't we?
No!
I
No!
would. I would just
No!
stomp it down the
That's
drain. Like, I don't even want to touch it.
no! It was
Yeah,
like
you stomp it down.
everywhere. You're just gonna make it worse. And I don't think
No, stomp that shit.
actually when I was like 3 years old, I did poop out a perfect turd into the shower. That was like that big, and I remember running away from it, screaming, "No poop, no!" And my mom came in and like as I was freaking out, and she picked it up and flushed it in the toilet. She told me
I
to
wouldn't
stop
have.
it. Ugh.
I would have punted that shit across the room and yelled,
It was like the
"Score!"
size of a football. It was like larger than like my calf. Like it was like a big poop. I don't know how that came out of me then. It was a similar experience, I guess. But this one was not. This one was like a fucking straight laser jet of. I
Speaking
was
of
like an old school printer.
Okay, so speaking of poop, I've been complaining. I'm like, maybe I should tell someone that my street isn't very well lit. And I don't think
Okay.
that my street is unsafe. I just need light to dodge all the shit on the sidewalk. And in New
Yeah.
York, I didn't see a lot of it in Jersey last weekend, but I can tell you that in New York, no matter what borough you're in, there is shit everywhere. In some places, like the Lower East
Yeah.
Side, is probably human shit. Let's just be real. It's a lot of drugs down
Ooh.
there. But in the boroughs in Brooklyn and in Queens, there's just dog shit everywhere. And
Yeah.
so
There's
I
so many
need light to
jerks.
make sure I can dodge a turd. Brown and Isaac has this really funny joke about like after every third like turd she skips over, she makes a wish or something. But like it's but like there's so much shit in New York. So much.
Yeah, no, there is a lot, and in Hoboken, I have to say it's not as bad. I will give it credit. Hoboken's very clean, but you see it all the time. Jackasses with their fucking dogs who just they take massive shits and they walk away. I've honked at a couple of people when I've seen it. Like, hey, asshole, and hopefully it shames them to pick them up. But it's bad. It's like, dude, come on. I have to say, I was a situation once where I was picking up a dog and I didn't have bags on me and he shit and I don't know what to do. So I had to look around, say, see ya, and leave
Uh,
it. But I did contemplate coming back for a while, and because at least in
use that
Hoboken there are like
example.
baggies every few blocks. Yeah, that was bad. But to be fair, the owner should have left me with some bags for picking up this dog. You know what I mean? At the time, I didn't have Stella, so I didn't have bags myself, or I didn't have any supplies. Uh, and it was only a 2 block walk. It's easy for me to say. So I figured no one. I to give him the benefit of the doubt. I assume no one assumed this dog had to shit, but it was picking up for a haircut, so the dog was probably all stressed out. Saw me, Uncle Carlos, who he loves, and was like, "All right, buddy, I'm safe. Let me take this poop. So the whole
When I
mess.
see you, whenever I see you, I think to myself, "Oh, there's Uncle Carlos. I'm ready to go. Number 2. I'm ready.
I just feel safe.
Just feel safe."
Let's call out the obvious, guys. Everyone wants to head into the bedroom with confidence, feeling like the best version of themselves. But the problem is that sometimes our thoughts get in the way of our performance down there. Or maybe we feel that we're just not reaching our full potential. And what are our options, really? Do we pick up a sketchy gas station pill or get prescribed a drug with a huge list of side effects? Nah, because that's where our good friends at Joy might come in, people. Oh, yeah. Now, imagine a supplement you can take like your favorite greens packet that gives you that extra dose of confidence and saves you the embarrassment and hassle of a traditional erection pill. Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is an all natural and science backed solution to increase blood flow, firmness, stamina, and performance down below. Oh, yeah. It comes in a palm sized packet just like this guy right here, like your favorite little electrolyte powder. All you gotta do is stir it into 6 to 8 ounces of water 45 minutes before sexual activity and watch the magic unfold. Literally. Now, not only is this the only supplement you'll need in the bedroom, but it also supports your blood vessels, cardiovascular health, athletic performance, blood pressure, and more. So even on days when you're not having sex, you can take the SPB to boost nitric oxide in your body, which not only supports your erection quality long term, but also increases blood flow circulation, keeping you in tip-top shape. Oh yeah. This allows for your cardiovascular system to pump blood more seamlessly and effectively to the areas of your body that need it, whether during workouts, sexual activity, or your regular daily exertion. When combined with a healthy diet, good sleep, and exercise, you will greatly improve your cardiovascular health. Now, the 30 pack comes in a perforated box, perfect for your supplement cabinet, pantry, or bathroom vanity. It's the perfect 1 month supply. Support your erections, athletic performance, heart health, and overall quality of life with Joy Mode, people. Whether you're on the move or traveling, our compact sachets are easy to pack and take with you. On the go, oh yeah. And get a Joy Mode boost anytime and anywhere. Redefine your intimacy and go to tryjoymoid.com for 20% off with promo code FratChat. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FratChat at tryjoymode.com. Ingredients with integrity, it's Joy Mode, people. Now, men across the nation have turned to Joy Mode with over 1 million packets taken to elevate their sexual performance. So don't get left behind. Anyways, I feel like this whole poopy talk is flowing very nicely together because got a little news story for you, Mr. Mo, that I think might change your
nice.
dating life. Now, a study found that apparently farting in front of your partner is a sign of a healthy relationship. Oh yeah. This research indicates that couples will feel at ease enough to pass gas around each other may have stronger bonds and better emotional well-being. This openness is seen as a marker of intimacy, honesty, and relaxation, which can contribute to a more trusting and resilient partnership. Shout out to Wasted on Instagram for the little news study. But I guess me and Julie are gonna die together because I give her the bombs all over Baghdad every day of the week. I'm just like, hey Julie.
Do you ever Dutch oven her?
Oh, never. See, mine are noisy, but they're not smelly. However, Julie over there, it's very rare that she actually. Well, I'm not gonna say rare that she farts around. I know she does it probably all the time, but she has these rare, silent but deadly monsters, and I'm just sitting there watching TV. All of a sudden, I'm like, look over at her. Like, what the fuck? And she's like, you can smell it? Yeah, that's the I can smell it. Are you crazy? So bad.
I think 2 things. I think that one of the reasons why she agreed to get in a dog was so that she could have a scapegoat for her farts.
It's like
So now,
stone,
now
stone in
we
the room.
now we know everything we need to know. And then also I think that there's articles out there that say that anatomically speaking that it makes sense for, I'm not sure why, but there's a reason why women's farts smell worse than men. It's like
Really?
scientifically proven. Yeah. I'll put the
Wow.
article, send it to you later.
There you go. There you go. Hashtag science.
Hashtag
Julie,
science.
when you listen to this, you stink. No, but I mean that's how they stay so little, I guess. I don't know. It makes sense. It makes sense. But I will say it does make sense in a weird way that people who are comfortable farting around each other uh stay together longer because I do feel like I can like tell Julie anything. And then that includes farting. I wouldn't like fart around many people.
Well, that's good.
She's like, like I love my mom, but I'm not like, hey mom, you know.
I don't fart in front of Osmar, but he farts in front of me. So maybe he'll even like take a dump with the door open. So maybe
Oh
he
no,
loves me.
okay, well
Maybe
that's
he
just
loves me more than I love
disrespectful.
him.
That's just weird.
Oh, I thought that was a good sign. Okay.
No, that's too much. That's too far, man. Shitting with the door open? No, 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 no. I did that once to spite her, literally to spite her, and we almost broke up.
He does that because he can see the TV from the toilet seat. The way that our
Oh
apartment is.
my god. This would be a perfect time for an app like YouTube TV to sponsor us because I would totally say how I use your product in the bathroom when I need to watch something like like the big game, you know. Big Ravens fan right here. Check the hat. Check the hat. Ah! Dropping the mic to have you guys check the hat.
There's a
But
big
yeah,
game on Sunday.
yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
I wear
So
my Ravens panties, my Ravens socks, and my Ravens t-shirt every Sunday.
oh yeah, we're gonna beat the shit out of them Commanders.
Yes.
We'll be better if we lose. I'm pissed. but uh, but that would be the time, and the toilet. You can even, we could totally be advertising your product right now if you have an app. So send us some money. Let us know. We're all over it.
Do you have
Um,
cable at your house?
I have I have YouTube TV actually. I was gonna say. I have a specific app, but I don't fucking feel like it.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna grab something because I want to show you this thing that I got recently, and I get all the
Oh,
basic like non-cable channels, but like I think everyone should have this. Wait, I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
right. And Simo is going to get something.
It's for cable. I think it is.
Okay.
If you know
So,
what I'm
let
talking
me get my
like this.
earbuds back in. So,
Oh.
okay, most of us have TVs and we have
Right.
Netflix as a minimum. I would say most people probably
Yeah.
have Netflix and Amazon Prime as like the two main ones. And then, there's Hulu and I have HBO Max. So I get all like the good stuff. But
Totally.
sometimes, let's say there's a football game, I don't have any station to watch that. I don't have
Mm.
ABC, NBC, CBS. So those are the three main, or like Fox. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that I miss out on, like a debate. Like I was like, shit, I can't see a debate. So I got this
Oh,
thing. Can you see it?
barely. Ultra slim. Is that vibrator? Wrong box.
No.
Wrong box.
So it says here, Ultra Slim UHD TV antenna. It's like an antenna attachment that you plug into your TV. Yeah. And you can enjoy free crystal HD channels from your local broadcasting networks with the Ultra Slim UHD TV antenna.
That's
So
crazy.
you plug it straight into your TV via the coaxial cable, coaxial cable. I don't know how to pronounce that. Or use included USB amplifier adapter to further enhance your experience by blocking unwanted interference and increasing the signal radius up to 65 miles while gaining more free channels. So like
Wow.
I get a lot of channels actually with this.
Really?
And they're
See,
all
I
HD.
do. I pay. It's. I mean, YouTube TV is monthly, but I pay. I think it's like $90 or something a month, and I get essentially all the channels I want. But the cool thing, it's an app, so we watch it. We have it on, on our Fire Stick, all our TVs. I can watch it on my phone whenever. And Julie and I, since Julie's into football now, we split the NFL Sunday ticket package, which we got on huge discount because they were doing a promotion over this like last summer essentially for this season, and it was like 360 for the whole year, and me and her split it. So between two people, it's not so bad. So now we're loaded, and we have all the apps too. So that's what we use, but it's like $90 a month, which is
That's a
I guess it's
lot.
still cheap. It's cheaper than cable, but it is pricey. But the cool thing is, like I said, you can take it anywhere, and I have all my shows DVR'd and shit, so I can watch them
Well, that's
wherever.
good.
And like it's pretty dope. It really is pretty dope. I can't imagine not having it at this point. Whereas, like for example, Hulu, if it wasn't that it's like packaged in with like Disney Plus and everything, I'd probably get rid of it at this point because like
Yeah, me too.
don't need it all the time. There's certain apps that just at this point, I have too many things going on, and I probably have to get selective. But just when I'm ready to cancel something, like a cool show comes back on it, and I'm like, damn it, I have to watch that. Like I was about to honestly get rid of Paramount Plus, and then Tulsa King came back with Sylvester Stallone, and it's like, oh, now I gotta watch season 2 of that, So, and then Beavis and Butthead will come back, and I'll fucking want to watch that too. It's really a fucking whole thing. So,
Well,
um,
the
it
last thing I'll
happens.
say about this little guy, though, is that there was one night where our Wi-Fi wasn't working. I had the next day called T-Mobile, and they had to like, I don't know, shoot a signal over to like my Wi-Fi tower. I don't understand this stuff, but anyway, the Wi-Fi was out, but this thing worked, and we were still able to watch primetime TV. So
Wow. So it plugs into it's essentially a little antenna, but it's wow that antennas work these days because they got rid of that old system. So it's somehow like a digital antenna, which is so wild. That's cool as shit. And it's just a one-time fee, right? You don't pay anything monthly. You just buy the thing and you're good.
I forget how much this was, but it was like, I mean, it was under $50. Like it was
Oh,
crazy.
nice. And then there's no monthly fees, right?
No, no, not at all. Nothing.
Wow. That's fucking dope. Okay, I'm gonna look into that. And again, we're not sponsored by this product, but hey, if you guys want to send us some money,
Yeah.
FratChat Podcast, hit us up. Anywho, that's enough time for that. But now it is time, Mr. Mao, for us to stop being fake and start getting real. This is what happens when you put people together in a chat room, in a house. It's the real world. No, it is comedians roasting each other for 60 seconds. Oh, yeah. And I feel like I need to find like a roasting sound effect or something. Like maybe like a grill or something like that I'll hit when I introduce this segment or something. We'll research it. Jimmy, when you listen to this in jail, chop chop. No, you only got like 20 minutes of free time. I'm gonna let you out of the hole. Uh, I did tell you not to get in that fight. Stupid argument, anyways. But anyways, he's trying to say that Travis Kelsey is a better background dancer for Taylor Swift than he is a football player, and it's like Jimmy, like no one gives a shit about that. It's just gonna get you beat up in
I
prison and put
agree
in the
with
hole.
that.
Yeah, but well, that's what he's background danced one time, and he's one of the greatest tight ends of all time. That is not like you would get beat up with Jimmy. See,
That's a
this is why he
that's a
does things like this.
tight
You enable
end.
him. You enable him. This. His time would be a lot easier. You see, Jimmy, stop calling Simo. You would have been out by now. You keep getting in trouble.
That's a tight end that I like to squeeze myself.
But anywho, it's comedians roast each other for 6 seconds. Yeah, but Jimmy, get that grilling sound effect. Anyways, we'll do this in 2,
I'm ready.
1. Yeah, I was playing the celebrity lookalike game, and I realized that sometimes, like right now, you look just like Macaulay Culkin. You know, like the Home Alone kid. You know, but like
Yeah.
mostly like during like the druggy years, you know, when like life was rough, but like you know, like he hit rock bottom, and everybody was
I've
like,
heard
"Ooh,
this
is he on meth?"
actually. I
You
have
know.
heard this. Um, I should put that on my resume. On my acting resume, I have a lot of talents that sound unconventional, like like driver's license. But they tell you to put it wherever you can. And now after yesterday, you can put on your resume pooper scooper after you dug all that dung out of your panties from your little
That's right.
accident yesterday.
That's right. Accident, just like you were how you were born. Yes, 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 yes. Now, I
I
was
was
talking to a
almost
casting
swallowed.
director.
Uh huh.
And they describe, oh, you do a podcast? Like, describe you. Well, what's your podcast? I said, well, it's me and my co-host Simo, and I'm like 2003 Britney Spears, you know, Dancing with the Snakes and the podcast, and he's like 2023 Britney, Dancing with the Knives. You know, you never know what's gonna happen. Oh, and that's 60. That is the bell. That is Canadian
I'll
Swiss
be
check.
2023, 2003, 1985, Britney. I don't care. I would just like to be Britney for a day.
Yeah, that would be fun. But it's like not the conservatorship, Britney. That doesn't sound fun. You know.
You know what? Everyone's like, I don't want to dog her, but I'm just call. Let's just keep it real. Everyone's like, free Britney. She doesn't deserve this, and she's a prisoner, and this and that, and I get it. Like, she should have the right to do whatever she wants with her money, and she should have full autonomy to do whatever she wants. But if she's not healthy mentally and emotionally, then you know, um, maybe she shouldn't have full reign over her finances. That's not fair. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
just know that let's say you're bipolar and you're in a manic episode, you might spend all your money and rank up your credit card bills, and that's sad. But I just think it's interesting that we don't really see. Maybe I mean I don't know her life, but I don't. I get the sense that her kids don't live with her, and I
No, they
also
don't.
assume
Of
that
course you
there's
don't.
a reason why. And if if the courts say she's not fit to take care of her kids or to have full custody or even partial custody, maybe she does need someone overseeing or at least collaborating with her on financial decisions. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Like I
I
don't think
think to be
conservatorship
honest,
is fair, but I do think that she could maybe have a little bit of help. That's all.
I think just I probably think that honestly the conservatorship probably fucked her up more than she was to begin with. So now she is kind of fucked up about it. But I agree. She just needs help from someone who has her actual best interests at her in mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and this is the only time where I would say like a big business firm where her maintaining her money would be their benefit, you know, and her growing her finances would be into their benefit as opposed
Hmm.
to spending it like a family member would want. You know, so I think she just needs some help from like a big company, which says there's a million out there with some good people, you know. So that would be my advice. Make sure you're at least have a few million invested into stuff where if you do go crazy and spend all your money, you're fine. Because she's made so much money that she shouldn't have to work ever again. But her fucking dad stole a lot of it, which is fucked up.
Yeah.
And like her net worth should be way higher than like 60 million, which is I think what it is now. It's like 60 to 65. It's like, she should be like 300 mil with like all the money that she's fucking made. So that's a big worry, you know. But anyway, uh, Brittany, I'll take care of your money. Just give me like $300. And I'll watch it like a fucking hawk. I'll break kneecaps if I need to.
Yeah.
300, 300
I believe
G's.
it.
No, 300 B's, not G's. That's a lot of money. B's for bills. But anyways,
I think I can speak for most men when I say we want to have better sex. And for the sake of our partner, we may need to have better sex, fellas.
because no one likes it when you bring a wet noodle to a barbecue party. Write that down. The issue is that over-the-counter erection pills contain unregulated chemicals, suggest unsafe doses, and include the risk of several other health problems. And who wants that? It's like those drug prescription ads where everybody's like sitting there playing volleyball at the beach, but they're dying of herpes. Not cool. That's why we partnered with our friends over at Joy Mode. Whether you're looking to spice up your intimate moments or increase your confidence in the bedroom, Joy Mode makes all natural and science-backed supplements dedicated to helping men perform better across their core functions. Oh, yeah. The trademark product, the sexual performance booster, is every man's solution for increased blood flow down below, firmness, stamina, and performance of your favorite friend. It's like a pre-workout, but for your buddy down below. And let me tell you, it works. And the best part, the product is totally safe. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals. All ingredients have been studied and researched in humans. It comes in a palm-sized little packet, like your favorite electrolyte powder. Just simply mix one of these bad boys right in with 6 to 8 ounces of water, 45 minutes before sexual activity, and watch the magic unfold. Literally. Like, when you start blowing up an inflatable castle? It's sort of like that, but down below. Redefine your intimacy and go to tryjoymoy.com for 20% off with promo code FratChat. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FratChat at tryjoymode.com. Ingredients with integrity, it's Joy Mode, baby. It is just about that time, Mr. Mo. That time to get to it. Because this week, hold on, we have a pretty cool topic, actually. Let me clear my throat for it. Let me get spooky a little bit.
Let me clear my throat.
I know. Whenever I think about that shit, that song, it makes me think about that as well. But anyways, we're going to talk this week about conspiracy theories, you guys. Oh, yeah. We're going to get... These are conspiracy theories that haunt us to this day. Some of these, some people I know still believe. Some of these are dumb as fuck, to be honest. We're here to break the myths. We're here to debunk these conspiracies. Because we have the FratChat podcast, have inside knowledge. Oh, yeah. Wait, don't get us, NSA. No, we don't. We're just comedians. We are going to debunk this shit. Because we're going to talk about the top 10 conspiracy theories that blow our minds, that people believe to this day here at the FratChat podcast. And, oh, yeah. It's going to be good. Anyways, let's get to it.
You know what?
We got conspiracy theories. It's going to be cool.
I'm going to throw out an honorable mention that ended up not being a conspiracy. So, like, people, like, I don't believe in, I would say, 99% conspiracy theories. But once in blue moon, someone will post something and I'm like, that's an interesting perspective. So, like, an example would be aliens. And like the Roswell incident in, like, what was it, like New Mexico or like Utah or, one of the states that don't really matter. So I know that there's a lot of like hype about it, like in Hollywood with Independence Day and things like that. But then recently the government came out and was like, yeah, there is like extraterrestrial proof.
What? Really? I missed that. What?
I think the White House said something about that, right? Wasn't there let me see. U.S. government
non-human biologics from UFO crash sites. Wow. DoD report discounts sightings. Oh. But there is a DoD report that discounts sightings of extraterrestrial technology according to the U.S. DoD. But NPR reports that in July of 2023, the U.S. recovered non-human biologics from UFO crash sites, formal intel officials say. It was Ryan Graves, Executive Director of Americas for Safe Airspace, retired Air Force Major David Grush, and retired Navy Commander David Fravor, who at the time were being sworn in during a House Oversight and Accountability Subcommittee hearing on UFOs. So I don't know what that means, though. What's it
I don't either. I just remember that there was a time on the news this past year where everyone was like, "So aliens are real," and I was like, "Oh shit."
Biologics. What are those? Is that
I don't
like
know.
is that like alien come? You know, this is like a CSI episode. Oh my god, they came everywhere, Johnson.
I would put some alien cum in my coffee right now just to say I did it. Okay, so I'll go first with mine. This one, the reason why I want to go first is because this is recent. Like there's been like my heart goes out to anyone that's in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. These hurricanes have been crazy, but especially if you live along the Gulf of Mexico, like that's super scary. Like Clearwater, oh,
Totally.
feels so bad. Like I know there's a lot of flooding in like Orlando, and oh my gosh, I can't imagine. So many people have been uprooted from their homes, and this is horrible. This is so horrible. But what's even more horrible to me is when um, extreme right wing conspirator um, politicians spin their webs of lies and try to sway the public against the government. I mean, I think it's a really bad message to allow the public to believe that there's no help coming your way and that there's no hope. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
even
no, that's
even if there
fucked.
isn't hope, at least give them something to hope about. You know what I mean? Give them some positivity to
Totally.
look
But
towards.
the funny thing is, but there is hope because it's
There
coming.
is hope.
Like
Yeah.
the
So
government has been very good helping every state apparently. So, anyways,
So,
go on.
according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a
I
congresswoman
hate her.
from Georgia.
The
The
worst.
U.S. government controls the weather. And it's like
Mhm.
boggles my mind because at the beginning of the summer, there was a lot of predictions by scientists and meteorologists saying that the end of the summer is going to be really intense with natural disasters and intense weather patterns because of, I guess, the lack of El Nino effect or whatever. So to me, it's like
Mhm.
these politicians are spending so much time on tackling what I consider are non-issues, like removing books from the library, and you can't say
Oh,
gay.
that's
Okay,
what they do.
let's have some press conferences about the fact that you shouldn't be able to say gay or talk about slavery in schools or the Holocaust, or we have to have these demonstrations to remove drag queens from reading books to kids. That's no different than me watching like Mrs. Doubtfire. You know what I mean? So they have all these like attention to all these like feudal discussions, whereas what they really should
Yeah.
spend their time and money on is securing their houses, knowing that scientists predicted storms coming at the end of the summer. You know what I mean? Like spend
And
your
here's the
time and
thing.
energy on like securing people's homes.
And Margie Taylor Greene, she needs to make up her mind on who the fuck's controlling the weather. Because before she said it was the Jews, then they said something about it was space lasers, and now it's the government controls the weather, which is the dumb. But the thing is, like, people believe her. It's like, what the
Oh, it's
fuck?
so horrible.
When did people get so fucking dumb? Like, even like, back in the old days, like I feel like if I showed up to like a group of like Native Americans, like when they haven't seen technology and shit, and I show up with a video and I'm like, I'm God. Like they thought like Columbus and those guys were gods at first. I think they would have smartened up quicker than these idiots. Like, what the fuck? Like, you have all the technology available in the world. You really gonna believe what the government? It's like at
You
this
know,
point you just want to hate because you should distrust the government to some degree. Like I'm not saying like believe everything they tell you hook, line, and sinker. You should think for yourself sometimes and see because there's obviously stuff that's propaganda on every administration, and there's stuff sometimes you have to see. Okay, they're framing thing in a positive way, but it's maybe not as good. So look into it, but not like things of the sciences. Like, people are like, well, I did my own research with the vaccine. No, man, they're not gonna do better than the scientists they got. to fucking come up with this shit.
Yeah.
You yourself, like who got like a C- in science in high school, you're not the guy to do your own research here. You let the government tell you to take the vaccine or not, you know?
Totally. I just feel like scary things happen all over the world, and then we had to learn from it, you know? And so like Hurricane Katrina was so devastating. And then Louisiana was like, okay, so let's just prepare for next time. Let's get some levees in place and like let's try to be
Totally.
proactive and preventative so that we don't lose as many lives as last time. Well, I know that like it's not
Mhm.
uncommon for Florida to have hurricanes. So like I hear
Totally.
all this stuff. Maybe I'm wrong, but I hear so much stuff in politics about everything except for like, you know, natural disaster prevention or like global warming or
Yeah,
just
no, because I believe in climate stuff. And the thing is, especially on the Republican side, a lot of them are bought and paid for by the oil companies. So if you
Mhm.
admit the climate's something to worry about, then the oil companies get all pissy. And even though they have the money to invest in the newer technologies, I don't understand why they don't just invest in that and keep the old stuff going. So then you have the monopoly on both markets. That's what I would do if I was a gajillionaire. Like, fuck, you own gas and you can own solar, and boom, you're rich, you're doubly rich. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
They're just stuck in their old ways.
just to end this one point, this past Wednesday, so we're recording on Saturday. This is going to come out on Tuesday. So a week ago, President Joe Biden delivered a stark warning that particular Wednesday about the dangerous hurricane barreling toward Florida. And he shot down misinformation about the storm, including particularly conspiracy theory propagated by that cunt, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then the next day, she posted on Twitter or X, she said, and I quote, she said, yes, they can control the weather. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it can't be done. Bitch, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's such like gaslight. She like tries
You're
to
not
act like it's
God.
like what? She tries to act like it's like her ridiculous theories are so like you're like not you don't make sense if you don't buy into this. It's like what? That's gaslighting, dude. She like tries to gaslight people into buying her shit. It's like
Yeah,
no,
and then
any sane person would obviously know that the government has the resources to change the weather. Duh. I
and
work in the
she,
government, believe me. Bitch, you don't do
yeah,
anything.
she's an elected leader, and like she says things like that. Like it's so irresponsible.
The
And
worst.
I don't know. It's just so frustrating to me. What a stupid bitch. What a stupid fucking And one day she might say something important. She might say something that's actually true, but I'm not going to believe her because everything else out of her mouth is such utter bullshit. It's bullshit in the back of your panties, Carlos. That's where it
I,
lies. That's where it
it's
lives.
I think if the chances of her saying something like actually like truthful, it's kind of like the Homer Simpson chances where he makes up this website and he realizes the only way that he gets traction is if he makes up these like outlandish rumors about people or stupid, and he starts like a column where he comes up with these rumors and he starts getting followers. And then all of a sudden, like a secret society kidnaps them because he apparently uncovered them. But he's like, "Oh, what? I had no idea. Like, I was just making up shit. Like, how do you mean you guys are real?" Like, and then they try to kill him. I feel like that would be what happened to her. She would like stumble on something that she had no idea is actually real, just making up outlandish claims left and right. But
Do you think Haiti is gonna capture JD Vance?
oh god, that would be hilarious. But it would help their cause so much that I don't think so. I
They're
think
gonna
every
say, "We
nation
don't eat dogs
deserves.
and cats, but we will eat
This,
you to make a statement."
yeah, no. I at this point, I feel like foreigners know to stay far away from them because anything they do, like, these people are gonna jump on that, and fucking make it part of their cause. Look at
Ugh,
these
so
foreigners
horrible.
attacking J Vance. Get them. You don't want that. But anyways, is it me or does buying a sex pill at a gas station feel super awkward? You're like walking around and you don't know what to get. The guy's definitely looking at you, judging you with every step. It's super weird. Plus, then we're going to talk efficacy. Does it really work? Because my buddy once bought a condom from a gas station and now he has 3 kids. So you tell me.
So it's good to know that Joymoid is not only backed by its users, it's backed by science, people, which goes to show that science can be sexy sometimes. Oh, yeah. Now, let me ask you something. Whether you're happy or unhappy with your performance in the bedroom, why not perform even better? Usain Bolt was the fastest man in the world, and he still wanted to run faster. So why not be an Olympic gold medalist in the bedroom, fellas? Because that's where Joy Mode comes in. Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is like a pre-workout, but for sex. It's designed to support erection quality, firmness, and sex drives, and it contains clinically supported doses of ingredients like arginine nitrate, L-citrulline, Panax ginseng, and vitamin C, which is going to make your boy down below stronger than ever. Oh, yeah. Plus, not only is this the only supplement you'll need in the bedroom, it also supports blood vessel support, cardiovascular and heart health, athletic performance, blood pressure, and general erection function. Plus, here are the game changers. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals, and all ingredients have been studied and researched in humans, so you know it works. And I don't know about you guys, but I'll never go back to over-the-counter drugs after trying Joy Mode. And psst, it's small enough to fit in your wallet and take it with you on the go. It's the perfect travel companion, and it's a powder, so you don't need to worry about it getting crushed in there. So all you gotta do, fellas, is just go to tryjoymode.com for 20% off with promo code FratChat. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FratChat at tryjoymode.com. Great sex solved naturally. Oh, yeah.
On to my first one, which Seximo alluded to it earlier.
Yeah.
And this is one that I just can't believe that people would believe. But it's another thing of placing too much, and people like Marjorie Taylor Greene also help propagate this shit, that placing too much power onto the government, where it's like, come on. That apparently the COVID vaccine has a fucking 5G chip in it. And that they're implanting you with this chip when they stick you, which is just the wildest shit ever. And there were other rumors that said that it causes heart attacks on young people, it kills you, all kinds of weird rumors. A lot of government control, mind control, Bill Gates control, and weird bullshit side effects. And my favorite, which was the absolute best one, was the trend of like cracked out white women and saying that the vaccine made them shake, and they would post these videos on Twitter just going like, I can't stop doing it all the time, but it just happens. And all of a sudden they pick up a cup of coffee and the hand's not shaking, and they just like sip it and they put it down. Yeah, it's terrible.
The COVID vaccine made me gay. I woke up one morning and I was like, I had this unquenchable thirst for dick. What am I gonna do?
That's right. Seymour used to talk like this before the vaccine.
Hey, my name's Timo. Then afterwards, I was like, yes.
He took one jab. It's like, hello.
But like, I feel like if this was possible, if they could inject a 5G whatever into your body via the COVID vaccine, why wouldn't the government have done that with the flu vaccine or for like pneumonia or like, smallpox or all the other vaccines? Like, why now? Why not before?
Because they couldn't get the technology small enough at the time, man. You gotta think. Back then, chips are too big, but now they're small. I don't know. Those crazy Chinese chips, China's probably into this too. You just never know. You have to think for yourself.
Do you think COVID is military like warfare?
Now that is a conspiracy theory that I could buy, because it does. The bat soup thing seems to have gone out the window. Maybe it was accidentally created in a lab, but I don't know. I don't know enough on the issue.
Or we say chemical warfare, not military warfare. We would say chemical warfare.
That China But I could buy it in the sense that they made it in a lab, but I don't think that they were actually like trying to infect the world. I just think it's effect of globalization because they infect their citizens the most. So, while they were downplaying the numbers, a lot of their people died, and China depends on that labor. So they actually hurt themselves big time. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't have made any sense for them to hurt their own people. Now, if it would have been traced back to a Chinese lab and only U.S. people got hurt, then I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah. But I could see the theory of it got, something happened, they were fucking around with it in the lab, and somehow somebody got contaminated and then released it to their people, and off they went.
See, I feel
That shit happens.
like I've heard of swine flu, I've heard of bird flu, mad cow disease. So like
Yeah,
like monkey flu, like whatever, like I get it. Like I'm whatever, you know what I mean? That's how I feel about
yeah,
it.
totally,
Another
totally.
animal,
But
another,
the
you
Batson
know.
thing could also be true, but I mean, it definitely came from that area. Obviously, it's just depends. Depends. I could see both. But anywho, what you got next, man?
Next up, I have I this is something I heard since I was little, and we've been talking about it in school, like just for fun. But a lot of people believe in the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah,
So the
to
Loch
this
Ness
day.
monster is I guess a dinosaur that didn't go extinct. So
Yeah,
there's
that's what
like
I
one
think.
left, and
Because he said
apparently it
Scottish.
lives in the Scottish Loch Ness Lake, and it's been part of like folklore for thousands of years. People have always talked about it. It might just be like a manatee with a big tail or something, or it might just be who knows.
I'm about to put a link right next to. There you go, and the Loch Ness monster thing on your notes. People think also that it's an upside down whale dick. They like to do that for
Oh,
some
let's look
reason,
at this. Let's look at this penis. Yep,
and they
it could
compare
be.
it to the Loch Ness monster, especially from far
Yeah,
away.
it
So
could be.
it's a thing. It's like, come on, dude. At this point, not like obviously a lot of the ocean is unexplored. So there's a lot of stuff out there. But an animal described to be like the Loch Ness monster would have been fucking seen by now. There's been so many expeditions too into like that area, and they've never found anything. So clearly, it's not that. It's something else. It's either a lot of hoaxes, or people trying to make a buck, and people see things that are not there, like a upside down whale dick from far away. It's a thing. Especially if you can't, if you can only see a shadowy figure, chances are it's a big dick. Just know.
You know
Take
what?
that note for life, people.
I think that for thousands of years, there's been so much mythology about like crazy, unexplained creatures on the water. Like even like in
Yeah.
like Greek and Roman times, they talked about like mermaids, or what they call it, sirens on the water that
Yep.
would sing to
Yep.
you and like murder you and eat you. Who knows? So I think what probably happened years and years ago is that people were out at sea for a long time, and they probably encountered some crazy weather and maybe never made it back. And the people waiting for them just came up with stories as to why maybe their loved ones didn't return home, because
And
they
then
were just too
also
dumb
there
to
was some
consider
shit
that
that
there might have been like natural storms.
yeah, but there was some wild shit that they saw back then too. Like for example, I've read recently a story of this guy, and this is like in like the 1400s, who was on a ship, and his like I think it was either his dad or his brother fell in, and a fucking shark, a big ass great white shark, which at the time they didn't know much about sharks, came to eat him. And this dude who was wearing like armor and shit jumped in with his sword to try to fight the shark. And was able to fight the shark off long enough for his sibling to get out of the boat. And as this guy was climbing out, the hero, the shark came and got him and ended up eating him. But back in the 1400s, like they would see things like giant squid all the time, but they didn't know what the fuck it was. So that must have been terrifying. Like
Oh,
they confirmed in these days, like for example, giant squid hadn't been seen in modern times until like less than 10 years ago, and then they were found again, and now people see them all the time. But it was kind of things like that where like, okay, it makes people say if there's a big ass squid like that out there, then that means there has to be something big enough to eat that fucking squid. You know what I mean? So then they say, well, maybe Loch Ness Monster is out there, or maybe Megalodon is out there. But I don't know. In the sense of Loch Ness, the way that that dinosaur is described, it was like a plant eater and it needed to hang around the surface long enough, like it would hold its breath underwater and shit, but like it would come up for air. So it wouldn't be something that's hanging out at the bottom of the ocean where it's unexplored. It would be like going to get air. So Scotland's not that big, dude. It would have been seen, you know. So people got. I mean, it's a nice thing to hope for, and it sells a lot of merchandise. But the chances that Loch Ness Monster is actually out there are, come on, ridiculous.
And just for our listeners, the giant squid is known to grow up to approximately 13 meters in length, and it is known to have like uncommonly large eyes. Like that's gotta
Yeah.
look like a fucking monster, Like I'm not gonna lie, if I was a mom back in the 1400s and I lost my spouse to a voyage that never returned, and my kids were like, I want to be a sailor like my dad, then I would make up stories and say, well, dad got eaten by a giant monster. So that's not
Yeah.
a good idea.
it's but it's crazy. It's crazy. But anyways,
Anyway, what do you got
uh
next?
up next, I'm gonna do one that as 90s kids, we saw countless cartoons on this. And it's something that has been running as far back as the 60s. But if you were a 60s cartoon fan, a 70s, 80s, 90s, even, it kind of faded off in the 2000s. You've seen this trope, the Bermuda Triangle conspiracy. It's, that was in everything. Like, don't fly over the Bermuda's Triangle. You enter some weird wormhole and never be seen again. Whoa. And it was like the biggest thing. And shout out to bluewateryachting.com, by the way. They had some good info on this shit, but there's a lot of info out there in the Bermuda Triangle. But it's also known as the Devil's Triangle. And it was first became popular when a writer published a piece for Pulp magazine in 1964 documenting all the maritime disasters over the previous century in the region. And then the name was obviously catchy. So then years later, a paranormal enthusiast named Charles Berlitz published a bestseller around the Bermuda Triangle, arguing that the lost ships and planes were victim of some sort of electromagnetic disturbance that causes them to disintegrate and fall into the sea. And he would later argue that the Bermuda Triangle was the location of the lost city of Atlantis, and that was causing the disturbances. And at the time, no one in the scientific or naval community took the book seriously. But after 14 million copies were sold, the sense of the Bermuda Triangle was like a spooky place alive with paranormal activity was cemented in the public imagination. Um, and now, another claim, which is ridiculous, is that the Bermuda Triangle was a wormhole to another dimension. Or an alien portal to our world where they would abduct ships and planes to research our species, or they even went as far as to say like it might be a giant vortex, like a giant whirlpool, or home to sea monsters too terrible to name or let alone photograph. But was something going on there? No, man. The Bermuda Triangle is dangerous, yes, but it's because nature's to blame, people. Say most Atlantic hurricanes will pass right through the Bermuda Triangle, and the Gulf Stream can create some pretty dicey weather changes in no time. Plus, the shallow waters and reefs around the Caribbean islands have called many ships to their fate. And there are also water spouts off the coast of Florida, more water spouts off the coast of Florida than nearly anywhere in the world. So, according to scientific bodies, including the NOAA, who have run the stats, once you take into account the bad weather, human error, and the sheer amount of marine and air traffic passing through this high activity region, there is the same percentage of recorded losses in the Bermuda Triangle as any other cruising area in the world. So it's really just because of the weather. But if you ever watch a Johnny Quest cartoon or some shit, the Bermuda Triangle is sure it's like to come up. It's like, oh no, he flew over the Bermuda Triangle. We must save him. No, Johnny, he will never be seen again. The Bermuda Triangle, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm looking for. I can't find it, but um, there was a TV show in the '90s where like this family like went back in time. They're like dinosaurs and stuff. Um, but I feel
Dinosaurs?
like, yeah, but I feel like there was a lot of TV shows when I was growing up where people went to the Bermuda Triangle and then they would like time travel.
Whoa,
But I
that's
feel like I
dope.
heard this a lot growing up as a kid, a lot about time travel, specifically with the Bermuda Triangle,
Yeah,
and like I would never want to take a voyage. I don't know why I keep saying voyage. I never want to be on a boat and go
oh,
around there. I don't
hey,
want to fly through
voyager
there.
into the high seas. Ha ha ha.
Whenever someone says that the plane gets lost, part of me is like, how do you lose a plane? Unless you
Yeah,
go through the Bermuda Triangle, you know?
that's right. That's right. But yeah, I wouldn't want to take a boat and then pop out in like the 1400s. That sounds terrifying.
Oh my
Fuck
gosh.
no.
And no Google? Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that. Absolutely. Imagine having a cell phone back then. You have nothing. You beat. There's no satellite. Make calls. You
If
just beat.
if if someone were to say, "Hey Carlos, you won a 7-day all expense paid trip to be like on a cruise and go to the Bermuda Triangle and back," would you go?
No, fuck no. And
Me
also,
neither.
I have a thing with cruises because I don't necessarily love the idea of being just floating out in an open sea. You know, and it's widely known. I have a big thing with sharks. I love sharks. I respect them a lot. I love Shark Week. I think they're super cool and interesting, but I'm also terrified of them. And I'm very mindful to not swim in areas where I think, for example, never swim during dawn after dawn, uh, or later in the day after sundown because that's their feeding time.
Yeah, I've heard that.
uh, you know, you don't want to be the only one out too deep. You want to make sure you're swimming with a group of people, things like that. Uh, but it's also widely known that sharks follow cruise ships because they know, between all the trash that people dump overboard and the shit that gets released into the ocean, that's a free meal right there. So, wherever you see a big cruise ship swim by, driving by, there's at least 3 or 4 sharks just very close at hand, swimming right behind it. So if anything
Yeah.
happens, someone's going to be a free meal to that shark. And
Or
I'd
maybe a
rather just that be
dinosaur.
me.
Maybe another Loch Ness monster. Its
Yeah,
cousin.
you
You
never
never
know.
know. That's
It's
scary.
yeah, his cousin Steve. Just like, hey guys.
Well,
No, fuck that. What
well,
you got?
speaking of monsters, there's some people that I really think believe that there one day there's gonna be a zombie apocalypse. And doesn't help that like we
Yeah,
have like movies that really cash in on this fear. Like what's that movie called? Like 28 Days.
28 days
Um
later. Yeah, and it's coming
yeah,
back.
it's like a lot of people, there's The Walking Dead and a lot of TV shows about stuff like that. There was one this recently about mushrooms, and that was called The
Yeah,
Last of Us,
yep. The Last
right?
of Us, which is a
And
video
so
game.
yeah, so and there's a lot of like um exposition on this idea. So ancient Greeks buried the dead with stones on them to weigh them down so that they wouldn't return from the graves. Like this is a common fear like through the generations. And I think that a lot of people felt that not only did they want to keep zombies from emerging, but also if the dead died with like a plague or some sort of like illness, they wouldn't want the dead to roam around and infect people with germs. So there was a lot of reasons for this. And I actually growing up with some Polish influence. So my dad's family, they're all from Poland, and
Hmm.
they would say things about this. And I was looking at some articles, and I was like, is it just Polish people? They're obviously ancient Greeks, but there's a lot of burial sites throughout Europe where they use not just stones to weigh down people, but there's a lot of graves have been discovered where there's been stones and put in their mouths. And sometimes it's because there was a fear
Ooh,
of like blood-sucking vampire-like monsters emerging from graves. So let's see what
that's
I have here.
creepy.
Let's see, there's a 16th century Polish grave found to contain a person whose teeth were removed and a rock was placed in their mouth, possibly to counter the belief that as they rise from the dead, these like blood-sucking vampires will eat their own burial shrouds to gain strength and cause trouble for the living. And then also, you know how like the Grim Reaper is known to have like it's called a skith, I think. It's like when there's like
That
sharp,
stick with the long, sharp
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
it's like a machete on a stick. So they've been found around the necks
Curved.
of skeletons in like century-year old cemeteries in Poland as well. So like people have always been scared of like zombies emerging. But I do
That's
think that there is like a
creepy.
subculture here in America where people probably have like bunkers and like, these
Definitely.
underground like, spaces to protect
Oh,
themselves for the day
absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
the
There's
apocalypse
big
comes.
bunkers, and people also worry about, like nuclear holocaust happening,
Like I understand a
which
bomb shelter,
creates
I
these
get
zombie
it.
weirds.
I
Yeah,
get bomb
absolutely.
shelters. But
Totally.
for the
But also
apocalypse,
there's the
I
side
don't know.
effects of that, which there's a good American Horror Story season on it when there's like a big nuke that goes off, and then the people that got exposed to the radiation turn into these like
Mhm.
type. They're still human, but they become rabid. There's resources. They're sick. They're dying, and it becomes like a whole thing. So that's kind of what I'd be worried about. So the radiation and the aftermath. Um, but man, that would be a horrible life to live, regardless of.
I think that there's a huge subculture in America of people that really believe in the apocalypse coming. And maybe it's because of there's some biblical passages in Revelations that kind of reference the second coming, and you know what I mean? Like
Totally.
I'm sure that there's some people can read what they want to, interpret it how they want to.
Nut
But
jobs.
yeah, but I bet when COVID started in 2020 that people were like, "I told ya, here it comes." They were
It's
on the edge of their
happening.
seat like, "Yes, I'm
Absolutely.
ready.
Absolutely.
I knew
Absolutely.
it."
And when 2012 hit, that was also another thing. The end of the world was going to come, and the rapture was going to maybe come then. It's
Yeah.
it's always every so often that someone brings it up again. I don't know when the next
Boy
time is,
vey.
but people buy into that shit, dude. So, yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. Zombie apocalypses and the apocalypse in general. Um. Anyways, up next on my list, I have one that I'm not gonna lie. Even as a kid, for a brief time, I fell into this myself, and it was that the moon landing, the original moon landing with, uh, was it Neil Armstrong? Or am I thinking of it? Yeah, Neil
Yeah.
Armstrong. Was faked, which is kind of a big thing to say, considering that helped uh, shift the power between Russia and the U.S. It had big effects worldwide. But the conspiracy was described in a 1976 self-published book, "We Never Went to the Moon: America's $30 billion swindle," and a 1978 movie, Capricorn One, which shout out to Capricorns like me, born in January. Oh yeah. And even as late as 2001, there was a Fox documentary, of course, called Conspiracy Theory: Did We Land on the Moon? That gave airtime to claims that the whole Apollo moon landing program was faked. Um, Note that there are plenty of debunkings of the various moon hoax claims. And then there's the issue of the hundreds of pounds of moon rocks that have been studied around the world and verified as being of extraterrestrial origin. So, how did NASA get the rocks if not during a moon landing? And why would scientists from around the globe willingly participate in the American Space Agency's hoaxes? It would benefit them to clearly to debunk that the U.S. never went to the moon, especially Russia at the time, who was in a race against the U.S. to get there. It would have been very beneficial for them to prove that the U.S. faked it, and then they get there, and obviously they become, the leaders in science and space and shit. Um,
I will say I believed it when I was younger. No, because I'm stupid, but also because I had heard that when Russia originally tried to go into space, they had issues coming back into Earth because when you come into Earth's orbit, obviously, it gets really hot and shit. There's a lot of friction, and said that the people inside the ship experienced like really bad burns and almost died as a result. Um, and then they said that the ship in the U.S. side didn't have nearly the same protections as the Russian ship, the one that actually made it to the moon. So they were like saying, how the fuck did this ship make it there and back? I can't explain that. But I have gone to NASA myself. I went on a field trip, which is pretty sweet. And then, they debunked a lot of the things about it being a hoax and they showed us a lot of cool stuff. Uh, so it's real. It happened, people. It's just, it does make for cool fiction, especially because apparently people who were trying to testify that maybe it was a hoax were killed and shit. So that makes it sound very conspiracy. But
Well,
nah, they made it. I think
there's
they
also
made
like
it.
TV show. Like there's a recent TV show about this or movie. I forget. There's some sort of production, playing with the idea that this was a big hoax. And what happens is you
Oh,
have
American Horror
people
Story too, as well. Actually, the Alien season
that,
recently that
but
came out,
also there's
and then
another
they
show
showed the
too.
studio.
There's another show recently that just came out. I gotta find out what it was called, but they played on that idea, and I think that um some people are unable to look at fiction and separate it from like reality. So
Mhm.
like even my mom, she watched this show about who was the killer that um oh okay, I'm going on a tangent here. The guy that was in High School Musical, what's his name? Zac
Zac Efron.
Efron, and he played
Yeah,
a
the Ted
serial
Bundy.
killer. Yeah, so
Ted
my
Bundy.
mom was like, "Oh my god, like that Ted Bundy was so cute," or something. And I was like, "Wait, mom, you're confusing like a reenactment with a documentary. Like that's not him." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I thought that was real." No, that's not real. Like he wasn't on a reality
No.
TV show. So granted,
Yes, Ted Bundy, the
she
reality
drinks a lot
TV show.
and smokes a lot, but but I think
Watch
myself
as
like,
Ted Bundy goes crazy, jerks off, and murders a bunch of sorority girls. America. Whoa!
I think
What will Teddy do next?
a lot of people look at these shows and they're like, "Is this based on truth?" No, no, it's
Yeah.
not. It's based off of stupid stories.
I'll say there's two things that got me. One's the Blair Witch Project when that came out.
Oh
I know
yeah,
I was in sixth grade, so I thought it was real. And they filmed that shit actually on like the smallest budget possible, so it looked very real.
and not too far from where
But
you live.
also, yep, it was it was up in the woods and shit.
Yeah,
But note, then there was a couple of years ago. This is like maybe like 2013, maybe 2014. I don't know. But I was here living in Hoboken at this point, and it was during Shark Week, and they were doing like a whole thing on the megalodon, and it was like a documentary type thing. And note, I came into this after smoking like a blunt, so I was like nice and stoned, and I missed the first like 25 minutes of the show. So I come into it, when they're like looking for this thing, and there's some sightings and shit, and I get really excited. And the show ends, all of a sudden, they're like in this little sub looking for it, and all of a sudden they feel a bump. If anybody who knows sharks know that that's the thing they bump, and all of a sudden the fucking thing goes and it like goes black, and I'm like, oh my god, I saw the megalodon. It was real. Megalodon was real all along, and I was like bugging the fuck out. My heart was like a million miles an hour. And then they showed a sign, which like apparently they had shown in the beginning of the show, which is why I referenced that I had missed the first half, and it said this was like a documentary, like fictionalized show. This didn't really happen. And I was like, yeah, you got me good. And no, like I said, I was a little stony baloney, but the way that it was made was so well done that I really thought that they fucking found megalodon and it ate these people.
I just googled megalodon because I was like, I can't picture it, and it says that it's
It's like a
Um,
60-foot
also
shark.
known as the Meg, was the largest shark to ever exist on Earth, and it
Yeah.
says that it's roughly the same length as the average double-decker bus, and that its teeth were like banana sized.
Yeah. They
Holy
find the
shit!
teeth still sometimes, and it's like literally bigger than my hand. And it could swallow a modern great big shark whole without a problem. Like we would, I don't even think it would need to even chew us as a human.
Oh my god, that's so
Like those things were
scary.
like 65 feet, which is wide.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yikes!
So I'm glad we don't live in that time. But anyways,
All right, moving
dude, what's
on.
smart?
Next one I got isn't a surprise to anyone, but like, when I was growing up on TV, I was always scared that I would get appendicitis because every show had an appendix burst at some point. Anytime I had stomachache, I thought it was appendix. And I know that you had your appendix burst, and and I see that this is a little bit real for you. But the average person doesn't have that happen. But we think that when I don't know about you, but when you were younger, you had a stomach ache, which you're like, oh my god, it's my appendix. Like we all thought that growing up.
My mom once freaked me out about it because she had appendicitis herself. And so I had a stomach ache and she started like moving my legs and does this hurt? Does this hurt? I want to make sure it's not appendicitis. But I honestly never even thought about it twice until like it started happening to me. I started getting the thing, and then it was like they were discounting things, and it was the doctor who was like, "We think you might have appendicitis, dude." And I was like, "What?" And I was like I went to like the minute clinic, you know what I mean? Because I just thought I
Yeah,
had like a stomach flu, at the time. The second time it happened, because when mine ruptured, but they weren't able to take it all out because it ruptured so violently, so they were able to remove what had exploded, and they basically left a little baby a piece of the appendix attached there. And they said that the likelihood that it's going to heal, but the likelihood that it has appendicitis again was very small. And then months later, I felt this awful pain that made me think like I was getting stabbed in the stomach, and then that was appendicitis. So that, and then it ruptured the second time, but it was. It's weird because the first time when it ruptured, it didn't hurt so bad. I just felt like weird for a few days, but
ugh.
the second time when it was actually appendicitis, when it was before the second bit ruptured, it hurt so fucking bad that I like couldn't walk. Like I literally had to get carried out of my apartment and down the
I
stairs because I
remember
couldn't walk.
Uncle Jesse in Full House had appendicitis while his wife was going through labor. He had appendicitis, but I guess my point is
Just so
that like
random.
in school, I mean, not in school, in growing up in my school years, I feel like I was always thinking about appendicitis. I was always thinking about like falling in quicksand. I always thought that I was gonna have a long lost like brother or something that was gonna disrupt the family because of soap operas. And when people died in soap operas, do they really die or do they come back? Like I remember
Totally.
it was like, okay, Tupac is dead, but is he really? Is he on an island somewhere? Like this is what we thought about. And one
So
thing
true.
that I feel like people talked about, even like I feel like Rugrats had an episode about Sasquatch, but
Yeah.
uh Bigfoot was like something that even TV shows had, like Harry and the Hendersons. Like
And the Hendersons. Yeah, I
it
love
was
that
something that
show.
we all talked about. And there is a TV show from like a decade ago. It was called Finding Bigfoot, and it ran for 12 seasons,
Uh-huh.
and it was a popular show, and people really believed in this stuff. So there was like the show had four people. I think it was let's see, I have a note here. There was a high school science teacher, a former
So dumb.
roadie, a skeptical scientist, and this guy named Matt, who was the president of the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. And they would search for proof that Bigfoot was alive, and they would talk to like people who've had encounters and look at evidence. And they were all over like Alaska and the Pacific Northwest.
And
But
the guy who was the president of the Bigfoot Club, he was also the vice president and the secretary because he couldn't get enough
uh-huh.
members. But very prominent organization.
And he was
If
also
you
the least
know.
popular person in high school.
That's right.
So much like the Bigfoot, in Asia, they have the abominable snowman that was a mythological creature that, the public tried to find for thousands of years as well. So, like,
Yeah.
so this is just a common,
It's Asian
myth or
Bigfoot.
whatever that
He's like
everyone
a
talks
white
about.
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And no, it blows my mind that Finding Bigfoot ran for 12 seasons. I remember that show. And it's essentially like them making noises out in the woods, like, break a stick. What's that? And then the episode ends like, oh, we almost got him, folks. I guess we got to turn in next week. Well, we keep looking. We were so close. I swear, man. I swear that's up. I feel like every episode ended with them telling us how close they are. And
But
I felt like they would have dragged that out for maybe a season and a half before people put on, oh, they're never going to find them. But 12 seasons is impressive.
they,
That's
they
very
have
impressive.
the abominable snowman was a character in like one of those like Christmas movies, right? Like with the red
Yeah.
Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, and he had a little friend that was like the elf that wanted to be a dentist. You know what I'm talking about? The abominable snowman. And so I've heard people say like, oh, like people talk about Bigfoot and abominable snowman because of like, you know, characters that we had in like stupid movies and shows. But this has been a myth that's been going on for hundreds and thousands of years across the world. You can't blame a
Totally.
Christmas movie.
And I will say, there is a type of primate, I forget what the species is, that actually stands upright. It doesn't always walk upright, but it'll also like go on all fours in one kick. But for some reason, it stands up upright and walks. So I have heard the theory from scientists that people had just seen big ones of those and then think it's Bigfoot, but in reality, it's just just a big ape. Uh, so that could be it. But all those videos I've seen, guy in a suit. Every single one of them. The original one was proven to be a guy in a suit. Guy in a suit literally came out and was like, "Here, this is the suit I used," and recreated it. But people still think it's real. But all those other videos, oh, that's Bigfoot. Guy in a suit. Totally guy in a suit. But I do, if you look up these upright primates, monkeys and shit, they do exist. And it's interesting. I think they're like Chinese monkeys. So maybe it would explain the whole abominable snowman Bigfoot thing. But I don't know. But yep, that was a big
Well,
one. And a lot of
speak
90s cartoons, I felt like.
I'm gonna say something really mean, but speaking of big apes, do you know this guy named
No.
Samuel Bankman Fried, I think, or Fried? He's like
Yeah,
the poster boy for like cryptocurrency.
the
He's
crypto
so
bro
unattractive.
who is in jail right now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean he
He's
looks
actually
like
in
he could
jail with
be like
Diddy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He looks like to me, he looks like he could be like the modern day Bigfoot. He's just such an unattractive guy. And it's so common. It's so common for a lot of like really wealthy, finance bros to be hideous, but money talks. I'm
Yeah.
sure he got whatever he wanted because he had money, but he really is an unattractive guy, poor thing. So anyway, isn't it funny
By the way,
that
I'm very glad that you said him of all people, because when you said Big Ape and then we're going to talk about a human, I thought you were going to go somewhere that was about to get us canceled.
no,
And
I
I'm
think
so
I think he looks like he could be like, I don't know, Bigfoot.
he is
So
gross.
anyway,
He is very gross. But
he's
anyways, go on.
he's so unattractive, and I think it's really funny that when Diddy went to jail, he's probably like, "Oh, I can have fun in jail. Maybe I'll have a sexy,
Ugh.
like prison sexual fantasy," and then he gets stuck in this jail cell with this like monster looking like dorky white guy.
You want to play some dominoes, Diddy?
Yeah,
Ah!
I can see this guy turning around and being like, "Man," like Diddy's like, "Man, I wish I missed this and that," and this guy being like, "I miss my flight simulator 2.0." He's I'm sure this sucks. This sucks for Diddy in the best kind of way.
Yeah, totally. Uh, that's funny. But anyways, up next we got one that's, man, it blows my mind how prevalent this is. And of course, this one is being still pushed around by the guy who was president and is running for president again. So he could possibly be president again. And that one is that the 2020 election was stolen. It blows my fucking mind how many
It's
people believe it.
crazy.
Like crazy, crazy, crazy. You lost, Donald. It's that simple, man. You lost. Take an L like a man. I think it'll be more impressive if you did. But literally, all like the cases that have been brought up on Donald Trump's side have been dismissed by courts for not having an iota of evidence supporting it. And in fact, most of the voter fraud claims that actually have been verified about the 2020 election involve people doing it on the Republican side, which is wild. And there was people trying to do things to prove that the system was broken, and they would get caught and shit. And obviously there's some criminals too, but for the most part, it was idiots trying to play with the system, and the system fucking broke them. But literally, this lady, Tina Peters,
Oh
just got
yeah.
sentenced to 9 years in prison for being a dumbass. She was the former Mesa County, Colorado clerk, and she literally uh, believed so much of the conspiracy theory that she gave access to someone who was affiliated with the pillow guy, Mike Lindell, to the voting system in Colorado, which is fucking wild and super illegal. And she told her employees and everybody that she worked with that the guy was someone else that actually had the right to look at these things so no one would suspect anything and think twice. But dumb bitch played stupid games, and now she's going to be in jail for 9 fucking years. But
Yep.
and even that, the whole January 6th insurrection happened because fucking Trump convinced these people that the election was being stolen from them, and that when he was reappointed president, he would forgive all their crimes and shit. And so it's like the amount of damage that this conspiracy theory has caused is insane, because it's I think it's the most expensive one of them all if you think about it, in
Yeah.
terms of property damage, jail time, lawyer fees, and all this shit. And the fact that it's still being propagated today, as early as 2-3 weeks ago when the vice presidential debate happened, and what's his face, JD Vance, is like, well, I'm rather focused on the future elections instead
Oh,
of the
that
past.
drives me nuts.
You
Like, part
fucking
of being a
loser.
grown up, I always say this, part of being an adult is just owning your shit. And it shows a lot of
Totally.
growth if you're able. Even, you know what? When I interview people for my job, I interview a lot of candidates, and I ask them, I'm like, tell me about a time that you um failed at something and what you learned from it. Tell me about a time.
Totally.
Like, I want to know if they're humble, if they're coachable, if they can learn from mistakes, and if they're, I don't want anybody big headed that I can't coach, essentially. You know.
Totally, totally, absolutely. So it's ridiculous. So people, if you still believe the election was stolen, fuck, man, I don't know. Read some court documents of all the judges laughing at the notion, because there's literally zero evidence supporting it. Please don't vote based on thinking that the last election was stolen, because if you are, you're just literally wasting your vote. But
You
anyways,
know, I think that there was some evidence of um other countries like Russia trying to interfere with the election. And
right.
and it's just interesting to me because they would have wanted Donald Trump to win. So if there was any
Totally.
interference with the election, it would have been in Donald Trump's favor. So like he should
Totally.
probably just be
Absolutely.
quiet and stop like researching and investigating, because if there's any interference, he's gonna benefit from it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, literally, Elon Musk owns Twitter, and he now is coming out to MAGA rallies wearing the MAGA hat. Whereas even last election cycle, he was like, oh, no, I'm totally neutral. And he would at least like wink, wink, and pretend he wasn't a fucking loyal Trumpy. But it's that picture came out where literally like Elon Musk is almost like bowing to Trump, and he looks like fucking Gollum, like my
Yeah.
precious, at one of his rallies recently, wearing a MAGA hat, and it's disgusting. Like the dude owns one of the biggest social networks, and he floods it with right wing conspiracy theories and propaganda and ads. Like if I'm scrolling through Twitter right now, I'm going to see like a million Republican ads on there telling me to vote for Trump and how the Democrats suck, or pushing some weird conspiracy theory. And it's all ads. You can see that it shows ad on it. But it's like, come on, dude. That's why I'm barely on Twitter anymore. Like I'll post a joke here and there on there, but that's about it, because it's turned into like this weird
almost like Fox News uh, medium. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's weird. I can't live
You
in a
know what?
bubble like that.
Of all the countries in the world, Brazil has a reputation for being the most powerful when it comes to social media. And I
Mhm.
think that I'm not sure what the drama was, but for somehow I think that like I don't know if um Twitter was or X was turned off in Brazil or if they're just
Yeah,
boycotting Twitter, but there's some drama between Brazil and Twitter. I think to myself, like Elon Musk, like in your business, the last country you want to piss off is Brazil,
totally.
you know?
So many people there. It's wild. Yeah,
But they're
no,
so big on social media.
but that's Elon's MO. He also like thought he was the man when he went on some, conference that he was giving, like getting doing a Q&A. Someone asked him a question about advertisers getting mad at him for now becoming like super right wing on Twitter. And he's like, "Well, you can go fuck yourselves, advertisers. Don't advertise with me then. I don't need you. Go fuck yourselves." Ha ha ha. And literally laughed at the camera, and then advertisers left. And now he's suing advertisers for not uh, supporting him and be like, their boycott is illegal. They should have to use Twitter to ban that, which is like you can advertise where the fuck you want. It's a free market. So he played with fire and baby got burned, and now he's crying, trying to find a way to sue people into paying to advertise on Twitter. Which I'm sorry, buddy. I don't think you know much about relationship building if that's your way into it. It's like if Julie tried to break up with me and then I sued her into staying together. I don't think that would entice her very much to wanna to wanna give me another chance. You know what I mean?
So
Uh,
so Elon Musk, he gets on his high horse about uh the First Amendment right to say whatever you want to say. And it's such a
mhm,
fine line between that and like spreading misinformation. So he's like, you should be able to
totally.
say whatever you want to say, even if it's not true. And so I just looked it up. It says here that there was like a pause on Twitter in Brazil. So between August 31st and I guess October 8th of this year, um, Brazil's Supreme Court suspended the social network after Elon Musk did not meet legal obligations during a crackdown on disinformation. So they were like, stop
Wow.
spreading misinformation. And I think the
Totally.
tension grew because Elon Musk refused to block accounts tied to their former president. And he was saying that if you block disinformation, then you're undermining democracy. And they're like, no, like it's really
No.
harmful and it's
Yeah.
irresponsible to our community, you know.
What a ridiculous thing to argue. If you fucking don't allow disinformation, you're hurting democracy. Like what a dumb fucking thing. Yeah, great, you Jeb.
Okay.
Oh my god. This
Anywho,
is
the last one, I talk about this in stand up because I really feel passionate about it, but like, I don't understand why people just don't support science and these flat earthers and their conspiracy and their conventions. It's so embarrassing. And it's only in America. People don't believe this outside of it. You know, it's funny. People, um, even like ancient civilizations knew that the world wasn't flat. You know, like, it's just crazy to me. To
Yeah,
think that we
no,
have
it's
a
wild.
flat Earth is crazy.
It's wild. People think like maybe like in the 1400s before Columbus's voyage, when and I know the Spanish ridiculed him for thinking that he could make it around the world, and he proved them wrong. But after that, it's like, come on, dude, what the fuck? It's literally been proven that you can sail around the world without falling off. Like, wait, what the fuck? But people are
Yes.
like, well, science has been wrong before, so it's probably wrong about this. They just don't have enough uh, footage. It's like, dude, you can see from space. They take pictures of planets and shit, and they're round. You can look at them with fucking telescopes and see if they're round. Or is it just the Earth is flat and everything else is round? Like what? Makes no
I'm looking
sense.
on Wikipedia right now. It says the idea of a spherical Earth appeared in ancient Greek philosophy. Even ancient Greeks
Yep.
knew that the Earth was spherical.
Yeah, they were
It's
ahead of
so
the game. The
crazy.
ancient Greeks. The ancient Greeks were where's at. I have to give credit to where credit is due. They came up with a lot of cool stuff, concepts. Even underground sewage. They were very ahead of the game. So sack up, modern Greece. What the fuck? What are you guys doing? Just resting on your laurels here. Nah, just kidding. Don't kill me, modern Greece. You guys are cool. You guys are cool.
Okay, so it says here that in 1956, some loser named Samuel Shenton set up the International Flat Earth Research Society, better known as the Flat Earth Society, from Dover, England. Oh my gosh.
So he was British.
Ugh,
British fault.
you know what? I apologize, Americans. I thought we were the idiots, but apparently, I guess it's an epidemic, and it can happen in any country.
That's right. It could happen anywhere. Oh my god.
But
I feel like
I'm
that's
gonna
the one thing that I couldn't come back from. Like if I was dating someone and they told me that they firmly believe the earth is flat, I'd have to walk away. I'd be like, nope.
But I feel like this is gonna make me sound like an asshole, but it is what it is. I think there's a big correlation and like trend between like people that believe in a lot of these conspiracies and IQ. And I think that there's a lot of
Yeah,
people that believe in this stuff from like bumfuck America, and maybe they were homeschooled, or maybe they rather trust their church over what they learn in school. You know what I mean?
totally.
So
Totally.
it's just sad to me. I think it has a lot to do with education.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely it does. And that's why, you look also at the people who believe like the 2020 election was stolen and the people who rushed the Capitol, and and January 6th and shit. It's you if you did an IQ test from 300 people that were there and add it all together, you probably get still like 23. So it's low. It's
Yeah.
low. If you like, honestly, if you really believe the election is stolen and that the Earth is flat and shit, like you said, there's no pill for that.
Yeah, I compare it to mental illness where I said,
Get
like, I
stupid.
used to be really embarrassed about, having to rely on medication to function. But then when I think about it, there's a higher percentage of people that think the earth is flat and there's no medicine for them. So in a
Yep,
way, I'm winning?
you're winning. You're 1,000% winning. I, I really, I don't understand how people really, man, I don't know.
So
But
crazy.
see him running. Woo! Anyways, well, my last one here on the list is
This is a
another
good
one.
one.
Yeah, people still believe this shit, and there's been way more YouTube conspiracy documentaries out there than honestly there should be about this shit. But it's that 9/11 was an inside job. Oh. Now, it is true that apparently the U.S. was warned ahead of time that Bin Laden and Al Qaeda were planning some sort of attack, something that involved planes, but they did not have enough intel to stop them. But the government did not plan 9/11, people. you know, sure, there were some things that could have been done to potentially stop them. Like some of the hijackers overstayed their visas, but that's not a reason to fucking assume that they're uh, fucking terrorists. And some of them had also been taking the piloting courses, the guys that drove the plane, and their instructors were said that they were poor students and they were only be interested in the flying parts of the course and not the takeoffs or landings, which is a big red flag. But
Yeah.
again, that's something that the instructors notice. It's not like the CIA where they're fucking sitting there on the plane with them. But the theories that have come out are that like Bush planned it to, get himself popularity, even though he had just been elected to the presidency. So obviously his popularity was probably as high as it was going to be. Um, they said things that like the planes couldn't have melted the bearings on the buildings and shit. So there's no way that it had to be a bomb that was planted on the inside. They just used the plane to diffuse the things. They said that uh, they couldn't find some of the bodies, even though like literally like some of these bodies were fucking disintegrated, and like some of them
They're
fell
torched.
from the planes and landed and literally became splatters on the goddamn ground. Um, it's awful. It's awful. And if you truly Bleav it was an inside job, I mean, there's so much footage out there of like the fucking thing crashing to the building, and like you can see it happen in real time essentially. By now there's a lot of documentaries on there. There's like a six-parter that's on Hulu that I watched 2 years ago that legitimately left me bawling like a goddamn baby
Oh my
as
god,
people
did
are
you hear
recalling the things they saw.
the recordings of the phone calls that people are leaving to their family
Oh
members
yeah.
saying,
Oh yeah.
my plane's been hijacked. I'm never gonna see you again. I just want to call and say goodbye." Like, that's so sad.
Hmm.
I can't imagine.
Totally.
Oh my god.
Totally. And the guy in the plane, and the United 93, the one that fought back, his message was so badass. He was like, well, let's rock. You know, that's how he ended it. We're gonna fight back. I don't know, you know, otherwise we have no chance. And he just looked over to the guy next to him, was like, let's rock, and he hung up the phone. It's like, wow, that's a bad man. That is a
Yeah.
bad man. But yeah, man, it's fucking heartbreaking.
He's a
And like
hero.
and yeah, and like you see the firefighters, the shit that they saw. There's one that said that she saw this lady who either fell off the plane or off the building, but he couldn't figure out. But her whole bottom half was literally a splatter, and her top half was somehow still alive, but like totally in shock. And like she knew that she was about to die because she could see down, you know. But she was like talking to the guy, like, you know, like I don't know what's happening, blah, 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 blah. She was just like in total shock. And the guy saw her basically just like stop breathing and die. But it's like, whoo, I don't know if I could live seeing something like that. You know what I mean? It's wild, not just the physical trauma that the people that live through this shit endured, but also the mental trauma. And to say that it was a government's conspiracy, that it was an inside job, it's just fucking
You know,
insane and easily debunkable at this point.
I feel when there's tragedy and when people are hurting, looking for answers, and want to blame someone, it's so
Yeah.
evil to develop these conspiracy theories. Like, for example, I like there's so much conspiracy right now about Sean Diddy Combs.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he had some involvement with like Tupac and Biggie Small's death. Maybe he has some involvement with Aaliyah's death. I don't know. Maybe he has some. There's a lot of speculation and a lot of stories coming up, and who knows? I don't know. But what I do know is it's really unfair to branch out and say things like Jennifer Hudson lost, I think, um nephew and a sibling because of domestic violence. Remember that? Like, back in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, there was a really, really sad instance, and people are saying that that was a sacrifice she had to make in order for stardom. And like people say that, like,
Oh, it was a sacrifice to Diddy. Like, yeah, he's the boogeyman now. You know,
or even
he's
like, I've heard people say that like Kanye West had to sacrifice his mom for the Illuminati. Like, there's so many
oh
crazy
god,
things. Like, sometimes tragedy happens,
ridiculous.
and instead of blaming the innocent, just accept the fact that that's life as tragedy. It's really sad,
Totally,
and you can't blame the victim. And like Kanye West, that's my heart goes out to anyone that loses their parent during a surgical procedure, and
totally.
domestic violence and whatnot. It's a real thing, and my heart goes out to Jennifer Hudson. And the worst thing you could possibly do is hold that person accountable for their grief with a conspiracy theory that they caused it. Like, that's crazy to me. That's so mean.
Totally, totally. And there was one that almost made the list, but it honestly could. But I'll quickly mention right now. Like, for example, saying that victims of the school shootings were paid actors and shit. You know, and you have people like
Crazy.
Marjorie Taylor Greene going up to the parents of these kids and literally like trying to tell them that it was bullshit. It's like, what?
I think that parent has every right to punch that bitch in the
Punch
face.
her in the dome piece. Just fucking just uppercut right in the dome piece. And like every judge should be like, yep, I'll allow it. You know? But come
Yeah.
on, man. It's crazy.
A
But
judge,
yes,
if I was a judge, I would be like, I have to punish you because you're not allowed to touch people. So I'm gonna give you 1 day community service and just call it a wash.
totally. Totally. Pick it for a good charity cause too, and I'll even match whatever you do. I'll donate to it. But yeah, no, fuck that. Fuck that bitch. MGT. But anyways, that, ladies and gentlemen, was our list of conspiracy theories. Oh yeah. Let us know what you thought. Now, let us know what you thought of the list. Give us a follow on all social channels or shoot us an email at fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can check us out at FratChat Podcast. That's on Instagram. That's on Facebook. That's on TikTok. No, it's on Threads. That's on Twitter/Sags. And you can give me a follow. Check out my website, carlosgarciacomedy.com. Or you can check me out on social media at Carlos Does the World on Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads, on TikTok, on YouTube, and then Carlos Does World on Twitter/X. And you can follow my good buddy Seymour over here at chris.moore.comedy on Instagram, on TikTok, and Seymour Comedy on Twitter/X. Oh, yeah. By the way, if you can, check out on Spotify or iTunes, whatever, Apple Podcasts, whatever podcast medium you're listening to, give us a 5-star review. You know, put up 5 stars, say something nice. It helps us out big time. So if you haven't done it, please do. It's awesome of you. And in the meantime, that's all I got for you. So, Mr. Mo, won't you please get us out of here?
I motion to adjourn this meeting so that I can single-handedly affect the weather.
And I'm marrying a Jew, so you know we're gonna make it sunny today. And
Yeah.
I second. All right, you guys, we'll be back next week with another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasts. It's the FratChat Podcast. See ya.
See ya.